Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Week 9 Gillcast here on the channel. Davis Mattek, Sammy Reid, Nate Nohling with you guys. It's Week 9. The Gillcast existed. Chris Olave existed. Drake London existed. That's about the best that I can say for this slate.
Did Dak Prescott exist or not really?
It's hard to tell.
It's short king summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's short king summer.
Demarcus Robinson, best wide receiver in the NFL. You know, anytime a 31-year-old guy on his fourth team can break out, you just got to hand it to him. Sometimes you just got to hand it to him. What a week, boys. It's always fun when you know from the first quarter of the first game that you're just going to be trying to scrape to get even because the player that you were massively exposed to gets concussed. It just really, I don't know how you guys feel. Does it kind of just make you feel like, well, not only did I just waste my entire week leading up to this, but now my whole day is wasted?
Well, no. Because for me, the good news was I could go to the park with my kids in the afternoon, and I didn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, is somebody going to get a few yards? Is this going to get me to even? Hell no, nothing's getting me to even, dog. I'm out of here. I just played with them, had a long talk with them about how they're going to need to ride bikes in high school instead of me buying them cars. Yeah, it's fine. It was great.
Yeah. It's I did not have that same experience. I did not have that same experience. I sat there and miserably sweated the games the entire time. Idiot. I mean, well, I got all these best ball teams. I have all these seasonal teams. All that
stuff.
Not
good for your mental health.
Yeah. You need to reset, bro. Go touch some grass. Like, it's not good to rail. It's very bad.
But I mean, you did have to love this Chase Brown explosion, the 27 rushing attempts. I mean, that
it just doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. I'm not going to win any of these big contests this year. I was right about basically everything this year other than Henry and Barkley. And those are the only two guys that matter.
Except for taking all the receivers and none of the running backs?
It's like, I guess if you took Mixon and Kamara, they're doing very well. Like, a lot of these guys don't. The thing is, a lot of these guys don't.
Named like Saquon Barkley that I had like zero exposure to that kind of has been not fun, but
the boomers, me and the boomers, when we get together for our annual, our weekly boomer meeting, we just laugh at you guys, man. We're just like, ha, they didn't take running backs. They didn't take Saquon. They didn't take Henry. Broke ass kids. Sorry. Just
here's a good stat for you. Devin A-Chain in games that Tua has started, not even finished, just games that he started, more fantasy points per game than Saquon Barkley. More fantasy points per game than everyone in the entire NFL, actually. The most fantasy points per game of all players. Well, yeah, he's pretty good. All right. Let me get on the right screen. So cash this week. I actually, I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I thought it was pretty difficult because I hated the main optimals. Like, I thought the raw optimals were just terrible. We got a little bit of a gift, I thought, with the Eckler thing, because before the Eckler thing, you either had to make a big sacrifice at quarterback to get A-Chain, or you had to fade Kamara. I was toying with fading Kamara, with doing James Conner instead of Kamara to get to a Jalen Hurts lineup. I thought Jalen Hurts was the best cash game quarterback, but yes, I could not find a lineup that made sense with him. You had to, I think you maybe would have had to have played. Let's see if I can.
I mean, there were plenty of punt type receivers that you could have done. I mean, you could have gone down.
You could have played. I guess you could have played Coker.
Yeah, a lot of people play Coker. You could play Yoshi. You could have done.
I would never in my life play Andre Yoshivas.
Okay, but Tillman Tillman and Jacoby would have been
the way to get Hurts was to go Hurts, Kamara, Chase, Eckler, London, Olave, Tillman.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't fit.
It doesn't.
No, I literally have it pulled up right now. It does not fit.
You have James Conner in there.
You do Eckler there?
Kamara, Chase, Eckler.
Yeah. This team would have been sharp. This team would have been. You could play the Cardinals defense on this.
I know. I almost played it, bro.
That team would have been. Good. That team's really good. If you played that team, you're pretty good. You're pretty good at the game.
I'm almost pretty good. That's the team, because that was the new blended optimal, like right, except it had Lamar, and I would have played Hurts straight up over Lamar.
I mean, I still think looking back, the best teams were Geno teams.
Yeah, so I guess
the Geno CeeDee teams were
honestly that is where we should start. I basically was just like, I just ruled Geno out for myself, honestly.
And I was shocked by that. When you texted this morning that he was unplayable, I it's like 3 weeks ago, we were very high on the Seattle team in general. We were high on their play calling. We were high on Geno's overall, like how Geno can be in a well-coached team. Like Geno can be an acceptable quarterback. And then he's got Lockett, he's got Metcalf, he's got JSN, he's got Charbonnet, he's got Walker, he's got weapons. And so obviously last week with no Metcalf, Geno looked awful. But it was also a really tough defense, and this was a totally different matchup.
He looked awful today, man. He had 3 picks and 7 sacks. You know, it's just, you know, you knew he was going to smash when Davis said he was unplayable, because Davis had 2 hot takes in the morning. He said Geno unplayable and Jacoby Myers worst play on the slate or something like that. And so you knew those guys were going to go off, and indeed they did.
No, but I really do think Geno was like
Myers sucked. He got donked by Tillman.
Myers did not suck.
Myers
I do think Geno was
with no touchdown.
I think people overvalue like a 1 week sample on saying Geno was like unplayable. People literally thought of Geno this week like they thought of Daniel Jones. And it's like, no, one of those guys is at risk of getting benched, and another guy just had a really bad week last week with no DK. And I don't think they were comparable, but the industry definitely did.
I was never going to play Jacoby Myers.
I was going to play, if I had gone there, I was going to play Stafford over Geno, man.
Yeah, Stafford could have made sense. That's the thing. I do kind of agree with this comment that there were like 8 playable quarterbacks. The reason why I ended up playing Dak was because I just decided it was so easy to fit CeeDee when the Eckler thing happened. It was just like,
I hate to say this because Dak ended up leaving injured, but in my opinion, Dak was like an all-time you don't know ball play here. I mean, what on earth?
Could argue the same for CeeDee too. The issue is just like the Cowboys. The Cowboys are just like the most F- horrible vibes. Like everyone hates being there. No one wants to show up to work. Like it's all brutal. Someone's asking what the.
Basically, we eschewed all that, which we've seen for 8 weeks now, and we said this game environment is what's going to do this. The game environment, right? I mean, Atlanta gets no pressure on quarterbacks, and you know certainly there's some edge to be had there. But at the end of the day, it's just like we're saying this is a good environment, so we're gonna play Dak when Dak doesn't run and he doesn't have any talent around him except for CeeDee Lamb. And we've seen this offense just be dog shit basically the entire season. And so
we kind of got
I didn't want to pay
6,300
for that. I would have rather gone down to the 5K guys.
We got psyop by the fact that he got 42 last week. And then what did Dak get? Like 30 something. Oh no, he didn't even, he got 15. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dak probably a pretty shitty play, to be honest. I don't feel particularly good about it.
It was just in my opinion, it was just mid. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, I don't have quite enough money to get up to the Hurts, Lamar Jackson tier, but I am a little afraid of these kind of sketchy guys who are like 1K less. And it's like, dude, why? You know, what does Dak bring to the table that these guys at 5,300, 5,500 don't? I didn't really see it.
Well, I knew I didn't want to play Minshew.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Yeah,
I knew
we'll get to that. It was
for the audio
weird-
listeners, we haven't read all the teams. For the audio listeners, of which there are many, I think.
Yeah.
I played Dak Prescott, Alvin Kamara, Chase Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave, Cedric Tillman, Mike Gesicki, Austin Eckler in the Giants defense. The Giants, you almost never see this. Giants defense recording 0 statistics in a game.
Impressive.
Really, really, really impressive stuff. The only thing I really feel good about is all the running backs, Kamara, Brown, and Eckler. I thought, although, I mean, to be honest, like $6,700 A-Chain, he's probably just like an $8,000 player. So like,
No, he's not though.
I mean, what he leads the team in targets. He gets every red zone touch. Like, I think he probably is.
The workload this week was definitely encouraging. I haven't seen the snap rate, but the overall touches and the volume like this week was, yeah, it was definitely more impressive. I mean, last week, even though he went off, he still had like a 50% snap share. And it's one of those things of like, none of these other guys that you're paying up for do. Like Chase Brown, Austin, like these guys are going to be on the field all the time. No, Chase Brown is not coming off the field, where I didn't think A-Chain was as good as those two, but I will say I'm guessing that snap share looked like it trended up this week. I mean, he had 12 rushing attempts, 8 targets.
Yeah, he was in there a bunch. It was a close game, a game they needed to win, and they said when the chips are down and we're playing a division rival, we're gonna have A-Chain in there. So
I mean, he nearly had a 30% target share.
A-Chain was a great play. I feel pretty bad for not playing him.
Like weirdly, the context of the lineup, like basically choosing to play CeeDee Lamb over A-Chain is kind of effectively what happened. And that feels bad.
I think at the end of the day, it comes down to like how much you value Alvin Kamara, because I think Kamara is really the actual deciding point. And I think Kamara to me is a tier above.
Yeah, I completely normally I would like to disagree with you, Nate, but the Kamara workload in any game that is close at all is just like, I mean, it's no one's close. Yes, it's CMCS. Yeah,
and it's just a tier above. I mean, all these other guys are going to be, between 17 and maybe 20 expected DraftKings points, and Kamara gets a ceiling of like 25 to 30, and there's just no one else getting that. I mean, so to me, Kamara was clearly the best running back play of the slate.
Never considered not playing Kamara.
No,
I did. So before the Eckler thing, I considered not playing Kamara and playing one of these dipshit 6K James Conner, really, to get to Jalen Hurts. I did consider that. I'm glad I didn't, obviously, but clearly that came from a place of being uncomfortable playing Dak
with Kamara. Yeah.
Well, Kamara, a great play, but it came from being like, Dak sucks. Like, I just don't want to play Dak. Why did I just play fucking Kirk Cousins, dude? Why? Like, isn't that honestly, wouldn't that have just been the easiest thing? Like, I'm fading London. Like, I'm choosing Olave over London. Why don't I just play Kirk Cousins, get the Falcons exposure that way? He like semi-correlate. Well, he does correlate a little bit with CeeDee. Yeah. I mean, that probably, and I didn't even consider that for a second. Not for a moment in time did I consider that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we all played Chase Brown. You were tripping if you didn't play Chase Brown. I think Kamara was the best play. So it really came down to like, how are you going to construct the rest of the lineup? What are you going to do at wide receiver 1? What are you going to do at wide receiver 3? I mean, because for us the locks were Gesicki, Kamara and Brown.
So I did want to touch on Gesicki because like I played him a ton in tournaments too. Normally I like to fade the chalk tight end spot. I thought he was like as good of a play as Otton was maybe even better actually than Otton was last week.
He was he separated from the field in an unbelievable way. Like I thought my projection for him was like wrong. When I looked at how much it was like trying to jam him in, I was just like, I don't know what, Nerdy Tenner's efficient ownership would say, but it would be above 60%. And I think he would still be a good play. Like
because tight end was not that strong this week. I completely agree.
There was nowhere else to go. And so I actually thought Eckler joined the top tier. I thought it was very clearly Kamara, Brown, And I thought pre-Eckler news, it was Achane and Williams. Like Kyron, I thought was right there. But then with the Eckler news, I think Kamara, Brown, Eckler was the sharp running back combo. And I think then if you went outside of that, it had to be to either Achane or Kyron. I don't know why I saw some people go. I thought Bijan was bad. I thought Tyrone Tracy was bad. Some people played DeAndre Swift. He was like 10 or 11% owned in the big $25. That was bad. I thought it was those top three, and that was pretty much it.
Some people probably, now that I'm thinking about it, some people probably did upgrade at quarterback Bijan over Kamara. Now that I'm looking at it, so the only other interesting thing about my lineup, because I think, by the way, look at this cash line 2000. You just love to see it. You love to see it. It's just beautiful. I actually didn't, to be fair, I got about 60% back, which given where I thought I was going to be when Chris Olave died at 12:15 Central Time, I probably would have snap taken that. But Tillman was about 50%. Honestly, Lamb at 35% owned. I don't know. Like, this team obviously sucks. The thing that Nate, I want to compliment you. Your side of the 2v2. So you played the same team I did, but you played Chase and the Cardinals defense. I thought Chase over Lamb was bad, but just not getting the Giants defense, not just like basically waving the white flag at defense. I thought was pretty good.
Well, I thought that Chase and CeeDee were close, but I actually thought Chase has a higher ceiling. And I was like, in cash, I already have Dak. I really wanted the Chase ceiling, and I actually felt good. I felt good about that. Yeah, I really liked the Chase over CeeDee decision, and it was close, like, obviously. But yeah, when you add to that it allowed me to get to the Cardinals D over the Giants, it was like, yeah, because I obviously a Bears fan. I love Caleb Williams, but like, he's going to take sacks, he's going to make plays that he shouldn't, and try to do things, and it's just high volatility versus a cheap defense that I thought could do well. Obviously 12 points ran hot, but the Giants, what was the upside?
Yeah, I mean,
you were hoping they got 4 points. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping they generated 4 points.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is structurally, if you go with Chase, you're going with 3 Bengals. And is that bad? No. And certainly on a day where Burrow throws like 5 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, definitely running. Bad. Yeah, they tried to get him a touchdown in the end. Yeah.
But, on the other side, it's like CeeDee Lamb, the stack with Dak. And I think that's even a little more scary, because it's just like, then if Dallas fails again, your team kind of fails. And Dallas has shown to fail a lot. So,
yeah,
correct.
And I just think Chase's ceiling really is unheard of without T. And so I think, like, we knew where the offense was going to go. We knew Burrow was going to force it. So I felt good about the Chase thing, but yeah, it didn't pan out, but whatever. I did consider playing Burrow.
Want to go to the outside the box team?
Yes, I want to talk about it, because
here you go, Sammy. Floor's yours.
Well, I mean, so Kamara and Brown locks, Gesicki at tight end lock. I did not pay up at wide receiver. I went London, Olave, and then I paid up at wide receiver 3 for Jacoby Myers, which I thought was a better play than Cedric Tillman. Even though Tillman has had a couple of good games, I was pretty dubious in thinking that he could repeat. He had one catch, or like 2 catches for 21 most of the game, caught a touchdown with 49 seconds to go. Congratulations to him. For that, and then I played Kyron Williams as my 3rd running back. So I thought Eckler was a very good play. He was certainly in play, but I thought that he lacked a certain upside that I thought you had access to with either Achane or Kyron Williams. And, and certainly Eckler ended up doing fine, but like, Eckler had 11 rushes and 4 targets. Like, that's fine. But the idea that Eckler would become some sort of massive workhorse, we've seen this story before, and he didn't become it, right? They're not going to give him 25 touches or anything like that. Chris Rodriguez had 11 rushes.
Chris Rodriguez got 11 rushes. I think all of them came in the second half. But like,
Jeremy,
I don't obviously.
Jeremy McNichols had 8. Like,
now, Sammy, this decision making to use Kyren Williams instead of A-Chain, I like where your head was at. I thought the decision making. I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down on saying you don't want to do Eckler.
I thought A-Chan was a great play. That was a $1,300 difference. So it's like I can use that $1,300 at quarterback. The way I did this is basically, I thought, God, all these quarterbacks are kind of dog meat. This whole, Stafford, Dak. I didn't want to land in that Dak tier. Didn't really like Geno. Didn't love Stafford. Daniel Jones, I liked and had a really good projection, but it was like, if he's bad, he could literally get benched. So I played a quarterback who did in fact get benched.
Get benched.
Yeah, I played Gardner Minshew, man.
There were a lot of good quarterbacks to play this week, and we somehow found like the worst 2 options. Like
Correct.
Geno, Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins. Like, could have played any of these guys, and we said nope. Gardner Minshew and Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Sammy, I'm surprised you didn't go back to Winston.
Yeah, I highly considered it. But I just kind of felt like #bad spot for Jameis.
Here's the thing. I didn't mind Minshew in tournaments. I thought Minshew was actually like the Minshew Jacoby thing. I think is low key sharp. I just think in cash, I don't know. It feels like you're giving up some. But
I mean, for the 3v3, I think I took like a 1.2 point projection hit. Somewhere in there. Didn't think it was bad, but I thought the upside access I had to Kyren, I kind of just locked on to like, I think this is going to be a massive Kyren game. And it wasn't, Seattle played really well. At the end of the day, like, Kyren Williams still got a massive workload, right? He had 22 rushes, 3 targets. His role is just so good. He's not going to get cucked at the goal line the way that A-Chan could. So I thought he had more touchdown upside. It's thin. It's basically Kyren and Minshew versus A-Chan and a $5,800 quarterback. Like, if it had been Geno Smith, I mean, wheels up, like, complete smash. But at the end of the day, I thought bottom line is all the quarterback options were so similar and kind of uninspiring at the bottom that why don't I just build the best 8 players around that and just take a dick at quarterback? And that's what I did. I thought I had the best 8 guys sans quarterback. I liked Kyren more than any other running back play. I liked Jacoby Myers way more than Tillman. Honestly, I'm not taking an L. Ran bad. Drake London hurt. Chris Olave hurt. Kyren Williams, massive workload, and just like didn't get there. So, Gardner Minshew ended up getting benched. Like, certainly that's a little bit of run bad. Like, this team was very close to smashing, and I think by and large some of those decisions were TBH kind of fine.
Overall, I think this team is fine. I really don't hate this team much at all. I think London was fine. I think Jacoby was low-key sharp. I do disagree with your Tillman. Like, Tillman is not the thin, like, just gets there type of guy. I mean, Tillman legitimately has been like a workhorse guy. He legitimately is getting above a 10 ADOT, and he should, like, based on his body type and based on his production, he should continue to get that. And he's getting a 20 to 25% target share 3 weeks plus. And when you look at guys in the NFL who are getting a 20 to 25% target share and their ADOT is above 10, it's a double-digit ADOT, that's a short list of guys that are good plays in DraftKings cash. And at his price, he's just $1,000 at least mispriced in his role. And so Tillman did just get there at the end, but it wasn't fluky production. I mean,
he wasn't a bad play. Like, he was a good play. I was just iffy on it with two games of sample. I don't know, man.
I get it, but I'm just saying he's not just like I caught one target in the end of the game. It's he's actually getting targeted all over the field.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wasn't going to play fucking Gardner Minshew's second target. Like, you know,
what? First target, bruh. Number one.
Yeah,
this guy named Brock Bowers.
I'm a Brock Bowers guy
for sure. But really, when you look at my lineup, I think in retrospect, the move is you play Achane at the flex. You play Tillman, and then you use that extra money for an actual good quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, we found the good team. This was the good team right here.
That was a good team. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, Alvin Kamara, Chase Brown, Chris Olave, Drake London, Cedric Tillman, Mike Gesicki, Austin Eckler, and I guess it would have been the Eagles defense, right? Or
Cardinals.
No, you would have played the Bears defense probably if you had the money.
Yeah. It was awkward.
Okay, but that team, Davis, is even better if you go down from Jalen to Geno and then go up from Olave to CeeDee.
Yeah.
So
there were a lot of ways to get to a good and cromulent team that I chose not to use.
Yeah. I think the best team that I saw was a Giants team, but it was Geno, Giants D with Kamara, Eckler, Chase, and then Tillman, CeeDee, and Drake with Gesicki.
I think so. I mean, I feel
we all played Gesicki.
I feel pretty strongly that Tillman was a much better play than Myers, but
I mean,
I'm not gonna go to the grave.
I agree. I do think Tillman was a better play. That's why I played him, and I do think Tillman was I think London was a great play. I think Tillman was a great play. Olave, CeeDee.
Yeah, I think London. That's why I didn't want to pay up for Chase or CeeDee because I thought London was kind of close to as good for $2K less.
Yeah, I thought Drake was fine.
Man, he should have smashed. God damn it!
Gesicki was the only
freaking guys. A third of my lineup left early. It's really, really not good.
It is pretty.
Gesicki was just such a good play.
Yeah. All right. Let's end this. Let's talk about some tourney lineups, man.
All right. So I kind of was lost on what to do in tournaments. I really liked the London stuff. I tried to build some Dallas Atlanta stuff, and it just didn't the pieces just didn't really fit. And I knew I wanted to play Chase Brown and Devin Achane in every lineup. And we got the news that Amari Cooper was not going to play. So I was like, okay, we're going to consolidate the target tree in Buffalo. You could have played Shakir with him. I like Keon Coleman better. He just has he's got a more volatile target profile, basically, which I'm pretty into.
Yeah,
so he makes big plays. And look, he almost made a big play in this game. But what happened was Keon Coleman got targeted for a touchdown in the first quarter and fucked it up and turned it into an interception. So Josh Allen was like, well, I'd rather not throw you the ball anymore. But the team I played, this was in the smaller spy that Dink won, I believe. Let me scroll all the way up to the top. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Dink won with a Geno, JSN, Lockett, Jacoby Myers team, of course. But I played Josh Allen, Chase Brown, Austin Eckler, Puka Nacua. I was pretty big on Puka today. Thought it was a great Puka spot.
Same.
41% targets per route run last week. He punches a Seattle Seahawks defender in the helmet after making a bad play that led to an interception. I played Chris Olave on this team. Olave, Nate, actually came in less owned than I thought he would in these contests. I thought he would be more 35, 40%. But actually, as I was building things out this morning, I realized that was true. So I played a lot of Olave. Obviously, regret that. Keon Coleman was 4.3% owned. I did play Gesicki on this team. I did play Achane on this team. And I did play the Cardinals defense on this team. I don't love a 13% owned defense. I guess I don't hate it either. But the Giants defense ended up getting really owned and stuff because they were so cheap and because they were in cash teams. I like
this team a lot, Davis. This is a good team, IMO. I mean, you got kind of the cash locks in there with Chase and Achane and Eckler. And and Gesicki and the Cardinals, but Josh Allen, Keon Coleman, and Puka Nacua, like all a lot of upside and no ownership around that. I think that was good.
And we actually have because we started a little bit later, we actually have the actuals. I'm going to guess that because Olave came in a little bit less owned, this actually sims pretty well.
It's going to sim. I bet it's going to sim okay because of Eckler. I think Eckler was the one who his ownership in tournaments, I think, was the most misowned. He was way underowned for what.
So when I ran stuff through this morning, I actually changed his ownership projection. I think they had him at like 14% or something. I actually changed it. I moved it in my runs to 30% because I just assumed that he was going to be.
No, that late surprise news always. Yeah,
it does kind of trend in that direction. All right, let me change the ownership to small field own, simulate in the big spot. I'm going to guess this is a 25% sim ROI, 36%, sim ROI. Josh was pretty low owned. Keon Coleman was totally unowned. Puka Nacua was totally unowned. And these guys projected all right, not great. But yeah, like I basically, like my tournament thought was you just want to have Chase Brown and Chase Brown and Devin Achane on every team. Gesicki is far and away the best tight end play. I think this team did just miss min caching. Of course it did. Why not? I mean, shout out to Chris Olave. But yeah, Olave at 28%. I mean, I was a little surprised by that. I really did think he was going to be more like kind of like what Tyreek was last week, where he was like fourth. What was he, like 40% or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good team. I think the Allen build is good. Olave was a good play. I mean, I think Eckler is probably your strongest play on here. Eckler, Gesicki. Gesicki should have been 50% owned in tournaments, probably. I mean,
it just was not a viable. Like, I think I played Calcaterra in one lineup and like whatever, like enough of the Cal. Well,
yeah, I played him in cash like 3 weeks ago, got burned, and he's just been smashing ever since. So tilting.
Yeah. I mean, but like spending up a tight end was just tough this week because there wasn't really value wide receivers. Like, it just really did feel like he was kind of the only play.
Yeah. I thought Gesicki was. Yeah, a great play. So I think this is a good team. I mean, I think, knowing Kamara's ownership was going to come in at what it was, Kamara ends up being the running back play that you really want in tournaments. I mean, him at 25% compared to, what did Achane come in at?
Achane was still, to me, under-owned 27%. I thought he was a better play than that too.
But his 27% to Kamara's 25 means
right.
Like,
no. Yes, so, very true.
Yeah. So like, again, ownership numbers can be wrong in a vacuum and ownership could go your way. But if there's another play that you could have made that would have been significantly better, i.e. Kamara for less ownership, like then it's not going to sim out like as good as it could. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought Chase Brown and Eckler, I think were great. Achane, I think he always gets steamed. I mean, these ownership numbers are just higher than they should. And then Puka, I don't know. My stuff didn't love Puka this week, and I think if I played Puka, I would have hoped to see lower than 5%. But yeah, I mean,
the thing about Puka is he was, highly questionable all week, and I think people just like ran away from that. And when you have a guy who's got like a really big upside, who people aren't going to own, I think it's fine.
I mean, yeah, but 5% is not, you already have like your Josh Allen stack that you don't need. I don't know. You can get more points projected without having to worry about the ownership there. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I love Puka as like a standalone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like at 5%, a standalone Puka doesn't give you like significant leverage and you are giving up decent projection. So.
All right. Want to sim my spy? Mr. Mattek?
Yeah, big spy or little spy?
Big
spy. Hit me.
Big spy. Stafford, Cup, Nacua.
I wonder how this will sim. I didn't really mess with any Stafford stuff.
And then
Chase Brown and A-Chain.
Yeah, maybe a little fancy play syndrome. No. Kenneth Walker.
No, I thought Walker. Someone just in the chat just said that he did come in a little bit underowned. I thought this was good.
He was 6.5%.
Yeah, pretty low.
6.5. Chase Brown, obviously. Yeah, Chase Brown. Bad play. Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, this is fancy play shit to me. Yeah,
I thought everyone would go to Eckler, and I was like, dude, Tracy he came in 21% owned. Like, drop an anvil on my head. Jacoby Myers and the Giants defense.
Gesicki at tight end?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously. I know ball.
All right, I'm going to guess.
It'll be like average. It'll be like, I'm going to guess 0 to 10.
No, I'm going to guess like 37. No,
it's not going to be great because so Tyrone Tracy is like an anchor on this thing. I mean, when you miss at running back on an ownership percent like that,
yeah,
it's going to be really hard to pull.
I just missed on his ownership. I was like,
yeah,
dude, everyone sharp would play Eckler over Tracy for 200 less, like, obviously. So we'll just go with Tracy, who has like long, like, big play upside, and stack it with the Giants. And if they do something crazy, like actually make it a game against Washington, we could be cooking with fire. Not great. This seemed a whole lot better, by the way, before the Eckler news. But yeah, I think
before Tyrone Tracy was like the worst chalk of the slate.
Yes, correct. 21% Tracy. Like,
the other thing about this
throw it
team
in the trash.
Stafford. What did Stafford come in at? I had Stafford coming in way higher than expected.
No,
he was coming in at 7.
No, he came in at 8%.
So that's why this team is going to sim terrible post, because Stafford at 8% means he was the like 3rd highest owned QB.
Yeah, I mean, what you actually do is just do what Dink did and just take the other side of the game with JSN and Geno and just get rich, like, easy.
Yeah, so Stafford ends up being like one of the worst quarterback plays you can have, because he ends up being the 4th most owned QB, right behind Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, and Dak.
Yeah.
So that's tough when you miss there and at running back, but that's just a miss on ownership. Like, overall, I get the Stafford, but yeah, that's just where all the ownership trended.
No.
I mean, look, I didn't get very many things right in general, but like Jalen Coker and Tyrone Tracy, these are like the exact example of guys to not chase and mess around with.
But I don't think that's what I think the Tracy thing does. But it's so Puka and Stafford in this pre-sim, you can see percent owned was planned to be 1.8 and 1.4.
Yeah.
Those
but with the
actuals
higher. In, yeah,
5 to 6 times higher that's just going to tank your lineup.
Yep.
So it's not ideal. Yeah, I thought Coker. I've fallen for many of these guys in the past. I've learned my lesson, man. Jalen Coker, that is an example of a guy that, like, it's like unplayable, dude. It's just like, it's the worst.
All right, boys. Just FYI, I got a hard out in 5 minutes, so keep going, and I may dip early. We'll see.
That's fine. That's fine.
I didn't have any like great teams, but let's see. We could do my pull up. What did I have in the small spot there? The one.
I've got it up.
Let me pull up that team. Yeah, I guess we can do that one.
I'm waiting on bated breath. Yeah, but like once like I do this show on Sunday mornings on the YouTube channel, and a lot of people are in there. And if I get like literally, I would say the 1 and 2 players I was asked about most this morning were Coker and Tracy, and I'm just like, brother, no fucking shot if they're this popular. I just cannot do it.
So Samuel, like this team, It was Minshew.
Oh,
No, I hate it already.
It was a Minshew Jacoby team.
no Bowers?
in there?
But I had Eckler, Pollard, and Chase Brown.
Pollard, by the way, should have been like literally the best play of the slate. Like a billion touches, gets scores a touchdown, has it called back by holding.
And that touchdown he had was so
I
sick.
know. And I think I only played one team with him, but man, he really should have punished the faders, of which I was one of them. Basically, I didn't play him in either of my spy teams. All right, what else we got, Nate?
And then I brought it back with a onslaught on the other side with the Bengals. So I had Chase. So it was Jamar Chase, Mike Gesicki, and Chase Brown.
Okay, I do like
who's your third wide receiver?
AJ Brown.
And the Giants D?
No, Panthers.
Got to get the Panthers D in there. Won the game. All right, I'm gonna guess it. I'm gonna guess it loves this. I'm gonna guess this is a 82% ROI team.
I don't know if it'll be that high because some things didn't go my way ownership wise, but I liked it before lock.
No, 29. The sim ROIs after the band of distribution when you get to the actuals is lower.
Yeah, AJ Brown came in
like 150% ROI. Like,
yeah, AJ Brown came in way higher owned. He was like the fancy play that I should have known. Yeah, AJ Brown is the one I felt
fancy play.
Yeah, I felt dumb about. It was like everybody went to him and thought he was a good play, and so that was probably what did me in the most. But yeah, I feel like I didn't have any like great teams this week or anything that was super weird. I mean, I've had plenty of Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown teams. And
see, I weirdly felt the opposite because I thought running back was so easy. Like normally, like I'm like a hemming and hawing, and I'm like, no, you just play Chase Brown and A-Chain and every time. I never get this. I had two teams this morning sim out for like 170% sim ROI. And I was just like, wow, I never find these teams in.
You're
in
like, I'm going to be rich.
So I was like, I'm going to be rich. And sliding doors, who knows? Maybe if Chris Olave doesn't die, a painful death.
It was a tough week. Like overall, I would say this was the hardest week, in my opinion, of cash games and tournaments. Like it was just the field seemed to play pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see any big mistakes.
And yeah, looking through my teams, it was like, it was just a bummer. So
what can you do, man?
A bummer of a week. That's where we're at, week 9. I mean, the field's getting better.
Field's getting better. Yeah. And we got buys, we got injuries, so things are really consolidating. We also just have like a pretty good idea of basically like we kind of know what teams are. Like we're not so much like guessing at like roles, like, oh, what's this guy's role gonna be? Like how's the team gonna play? What's this matchup gonna be like? Like we have a pretty good idea.
We know the Cowboys are ass. Like
we know the Cowboys are ass. So if we know the Cowboys are ass, the thing we have to do is we have to make our largest amount of salary we need to distribute to their quarterback and to their wide receiver. Like that's just like a really good, smart choice from all of us. You know what, Sammy? Let's just go ahead and get out of here. I'm feeling depressed. It's not a particularly fun week, but they're not all going to be fun weeks. That is the name of the game. It's true. We thought we knew JSN was ass, and it turns out JSN absolutely. There were people were calling him
an ass master, baby. He just
people were calling him
a bunch of money.
The one thing I will say though is the fact that we all didn't get like destroyed. The fact that it was a break even or slightly positive week, and then our quarterback got hurt, and our most second price wide receiver got hurt. Like that's a pretty good week. The fact that we can take on those injuries and not just be tanked. Like that means we played very well.
The reason why we ended up not getting totally killed was people played Minshew and London got hurt too. Like that was why
that's why I didn't destroy you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just kind of bad luck. Dak would have gotten some garbage points. He did injure his hamstring. He would have gotten some more points, and I don't know, maybe CeeDee would have gotten some more points too. All right, everyone, we're getting out of here. I will be back tomorrow for ADP chasing. Probably will do a stream after that as well. If you're listening to this on the Roto Grinders Fantasy Football Podcast feed, a reminder that we do this live Sunday nights over on the Davis Mattek YouTube. And we'll be back next week. Hope you all had a better week than we did.
It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks